Welcome to 5-Star Weekly. The first preseason friendly is done and dusted. And are we finally getting the center back that we need? All that and more coming up. Welcome to the show, 5-Star fam. I'm AJ, and this is Marc. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. This segment is sponsored by Thinking Man Tavern, a cozy Decatur neighborhood pub. Grab a tasty beverage from a wide variety of selections and a plate of something delicious from the menu. To go, check out Thinking Man Tavern. So the home opener dates are now known. Atlanta United will open 2021 versus Orlando City. And that will be on April 17th at 3 p.m. at Exploria Stadium. And our home opener will be April 24th versus Chicago Fire at 8 p.m. And if that's going to be at the Benz, we don't know quite yet. That hasn't been confirmed. It could be at KSU, maybe as the other option. But so far, we're going to assume that it probably is at the Benz. Yes, the Benz has been a COVID vaccination site during the pandemic, but I would imagine that, Atlanta United would still hold the rights to be able to play at their home. So that probably isn't going to be an issue. But, how do you feel about opening the season against Orlando City, Marc?
Well, of course, MLS went with some of its strongest, most intriguing matchups for the opening weekend, and that makes sense. You want a big draw. And so, Atlanta in the past has been, I think, talked up as a rivalry, even though on the field it hasn't necessarily matched that. Certainly, I think there's genuine animosity between the fans, a little bit between the players. But now what you have as well are a team in Orlando that made the playoffs last year, took a lot of strides under Oscar Pareja, and they seem to have a pretty decent squad. We'll see if they get DK back. Kind of hope they don't. We won't face him on the 17th, but I hope he is eventually sold and just stays in England. But no. And then you have in Atlanta a team that's rising from the ashes. Of course, there's a certain standard that the league had become accustomed to from Atlanta. And I think with the hiring of Gabriel Ince and some of the transfers, there's a lot of buzz around the league in terms of how good can Atlanta be. I think from just purely an Atlanta perspective, we want to test ourselves versus teams that made the playoffs last year. Like how good is this team? What needs to be improved? Because ultimately we want to be a playoff team this year. I think that's a baseline goal. And so I think these matchups in particular, we value in terms of just how well the team is playing, and how well Ince is doing. And so to have that right off the bat in the matchup versus Orlando, it's great. We'll see. I don't know if they have a plan for fans or what. I would imagine it's not a full stadium. I do hope that later in the season we are able to have full stadiums, because the first full stadium Orlando-Atlanta matchup is going to be, it's going to be a doozy. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm just excited to see the team play again. And again, to have that first game be Orlando is pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to ramp up very, very quickly. That's for sure, because that's going to be something that's, our essentially kind of tune-ups are against Alajuelense in the Champions League, so very interesting indeed for that. But at least I guess we have a couple of matches before the season starts, I guess, in that sense. But also, against the Chicago Fire, who thankfully I think we're playing at home, because it's been a house of horrors anytime we played it in Chicago. And so, definitely wherever we play in Georgia against the Fire will be probably a better scenario than there. So, against the Fire at home, that should be maybe, also in a way, because I think historically against the Chicago Fire, in terms of how many fans do show up, it's possible that, they're trying to get the ones that maybe don't have as many fans that travel, out of the way first. That would be maybe an interesting strategy by MLS if they thought that far. but possibly that could have been one of the motivating factors to have the fire come this early. But definitely someone else that had something to talk about our openers was Joseph Martinez, and he talked about opening up against Orlando City. He said, quote, "It'll be up to the coaching staff, but I'm ready for that game. I'm just working hard to get back." And he also said, "The father is back," which, definitely is right in line with the kind of trash talk that Joseph Martinez is known for. And he definitely, has a very, very just spotless record against Orlando City when he's played against them, and also when he hasn't played against them, mostly sans last year, when he trolled them on hammocks. But what are your thoughts on him saying that father is back? I mean, he definitely has fathered them in the past, especially when you score and break a record in their stadium. He's got the right to trash talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's more than earned the right. I think what I love about him doing this trash talk, though, is that he's putting pressure on himself. He's talking the talk thing. He's got to back it up, and he usually does. He went on to say in this press conference that he didn't watch a lot of LA United games last year, and that, it made him mad that he couldn't help the team. And I'm sure it really pissed him off that they lost to Orlando twice. That's not something that's happening when he's around. So I'm sure he's very keen to rectify that. And I'm sure he's relishing the opportunity to be able to do that on day one. As we've mentioned in previous episodes, we don't want to rush him back from an ACL injury. But I do think there should be enough of a gap between the second leg versus Alajuelense and the season opener. So, hopefully he'll be gearing up for that game. And, hopefully he can score one or two.
Yeah. He's going to be fired up to play against Orlando City. If there's not a rivalry to fans, I mean, Jose Martinez definitely feels that there's a rivalry between the two clubs. So, it's definitely, he makes this a very fun matchup and makes us look forward to the opener for sure. But Jose Martinez also went on to say in his press conference that he has had up to 5 surgical procedures on his injured knee. That's, I think, still pretty par for the course in terms of the recovery period for an ACL injury. I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of complications, but it definitely seemed like, he was making that trip up to Pittsburgh pretty frequently. And, he said that it's been a tough way back for him, but he said that he's happy to be back on the field again. And he also has echoed what others have been saying about Atlanta United's new head coach, Gabriel Heinze. He said he's a very tough coach so far. He said, quote, "We are very tired because we run a lot." And that's kind of, what you want to hear, I think, in the very beginning of preseason anyway, that, these players are building up their stamina, building up their fitness, and, they're getting ready for the season, which is going to be, a tough one where, we start with the Champions League. We'll have kind of, this preseason in terms of not really top competition that we faced to ramp up to these games. But also, the amount of games that we will eventually play with the style that we're going to be playing with high pressing, counter pressing, lots of running indeed. This is definitely going to get them ready for the season. But, you have any thoughts on all that?
Yeah, no, I just want to echo those sentiments. I mean, I think now is the time for these intense training sessions, especially since you're not going to be able to do it during the season when you're playing, especially when those times when you're playing 3 matches a week. It's it smacks of Bielsa, and hopefully the product on the field matches, the training sessions and, everything that we're hearing.
Indeed. So, also, Jose Martinez has been showing a lot about his puppies on his IG story. And so, there's been a lot of, little hachikos, I think, if it's that dog, I'm not sure, but I believe it's Hachiko of his that he has had 9 puppies rolling around in his house, and at the moment he said they pee and shit everywhere, and I'm not very happy. But it seems like he's definitely enjoying having them around in a sense, though. He's always showing them on his IG story, and yeah, they're adorable. But yeah, you know, this is like one of those things that you just pick up during the pandemic, one of those hobbies. Maybe he's like breeding, and you know, we'll see if he you know, is gonna sell them or not. We'll find out, I guess. Maybe he'll post some things, I'm sure, on his IG story to you know, I'm not sure he's gonna keep around 9 puppies around his house. That's
right. Yeah, maybe family members will get one, maybe a neighbor or two.
Exactly. We'll find out, I'm sure. But anyway, moving on from that, and speaking of Joseph, he started the first preseason friendly. That was against Tormenta FC. And that also saw Ezequiel Barco start. It was a 3-0 win. Of course, Tormenta, you know, not very high on the soccer ladder in the United States, but still, you know, a good opponent to start the season or preseason with. So, you know, good little tune-up, good little, you know, scrimmage for the team. But it seemed like in terms of those 3 goals, it was more so in the second half or the latter part of the match. But Tyler Wolff, Jake Mulroney, and Kubo Torres were the scorers. Probably not, you know, your everyday what you would imagine are the scorers for LA United, but definitely guys that, you know, a prospect that we'll be looking forward to seeing play more. Mulroney, definitely a guy that hopefully will play a bigger part, and Kubo Torres with his dual role in the Atlanta United system now, as also being an academy striker coach. So, you know, good to see them start off the season or preseason well. But moving on to our second, you know, preseason match, it will be against the Charleston Battery this Saturday, and it will be streamed. Thank the Lord, and it will be 4 30-minute periods, scheduled for 10:30 a.m. So it's gonna be an early riser for sure. But either way, yeah, we will be, you know, able to watch the match, and I think that's the bottom line. Is you know, we're excited about that, and you know, what are your thoughts on being able to finally watch it? Are you gonna wake up early? Ish. It's not that early, but.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you watch European soccer, that's like prime soccer time anyway. But yeah, no, like, just to echo those sentiments, like, I'm just excited to be able to watch them again, see some of the new players, see, you know, I'm not going to judge it too hard, you know, I expect it to be a little bit rough. But yeah, no, I mean, just excited to see the guys, especially Joseph.
Right.
So.
And there's a reason why they didn't stream that first one, I'm sure. You know, there's not only is it preseason for the players, but it's probably preseason for the digital team and the broadcast team as well. So there's definitely some things that they need to get a hold of first, and then, you know, now they can, you know, stream this one. This one so far is gonna be the only one that's gonna be streamed. That Birmingham Legion one possibly will be, but nothing's been announced. But obviously, there is the possibility of fans being able to go to that game, so, you know, there will be that. Just a very finite amount of people, though, unfortunately. So that's kind of, I think, a little bit more for the supporters groups and the members of those supporters groups at the moment. I don't think they're opening it up to the general public as of yet. But we will find out, and we'll let you know. So, anyway, let's move on to the transfer rumors of the week. And we finally have our starting center back? Hopefully so. But this one is in the name of Alan Franco. And Alan Franco is a 24-year-old center back for Independiente. LA United have reportedly put in an offer of $2.8 million for 50% of his rights, and also an additional $200,000 if the defender makes 15 appearances for the club. And this could close as early as today on Wednesday. Full disclosure when we're filming this. And the remaining 50%, LA United would be obliged to buy a larger stake of the rest of his rights every single year. And that's according to Matias Martinez. So very, very interesting kind of deal for sure. Some creativeness that kind of makes you think probably Paul McDonough has had a hand in this for sure to kind of keep the salary cap down for us, and also, you know, kind of skirt some of that legally in a way of those rules, so that we can and are able to bring him on, because, well, Franco is a player that has been looked at in the past by LA Galaxy and almost made the move, but he also, Independiente quoted about $9 million for LA Galaxy apparently for this player. So this is a huge discount for sure.
Right.
And also, that's there are reports out there that Independiente owe Torino, Italian side Torino, about $1.8 million or so of some cash reserves that they must give up. So they are itching for money, and you know, this is something that could kind of push along this deal even further. But before I get your opinion, their coach, Julio Cesar Falcioni, his reaction about this, you know, possible transfer and how much of a blow it is to Independiente. He said, "I'm not the one to make him miss the chance of a lifetime." One, wow. Two, he said that, this player is super important to their setup, but that essentially if they have to lose him, they'll have to bring in maybe another academy product, because they do play with 3 center backs at the back. So very interesting words indeed. What are your thoughts on this, you know, kind of deal, the way it's got so far, and then we'll talk about the player in terms of his profile.
Yeah. Real FM hours from LA United. I mean, I've never the 50% of his rights is one thing, but being obliged to gradually buy more of his rights, it's interesting. I mean, like, whatever works for both parties, you know. To be able to, if they pull this off, because, you know, we've been down this road literally before.
A couple times. So hopefully, yes.
If they close this deal, though, I'm gonna find some wood to knock on.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a job. It will be a job well done. You know, especially given the time crunch, given the situation that pretty much everyone knows you're looking for a center back anyway.
Yeah.
To be able to identify not only a player but a willing partner in a club, and a club that seems like needs the money.
Right.
So let's again, you know. We gotta wait for the Darren Neal's cryptic tweet and then LA United announcing it for us to feel comfortable with this. But I mean, that's, you know, that's another one where you tip your cap to the front office. I mean, like, this offseason in general too. You know, I think that they were probably aware of some of the criticism from the fans, and not to say that they responded because of the fans, but, you know, certainly I think.
They knew the product was definitely, not up to par, for sure.
Yeah, and they acted with urgency. You know, I love a big transfer window. It's really a lot like what Chelsea did last summer.
Sure.
You know, just addressing as many positions as you can at one, and a profile of player, all similar ages, you know, low to mid 20s. So really, you know, job well done. But again, gotta wait till this one's official.
Indeed. And then there's also, I think, what's interesting about this is pretty much this is the transfer fee that Lautaro Giannetti was pretty much touted as, you know, that would be the offer. And Giannetti, 27, Franco, 24, and arguably, with less of an injury scare type of thing. So, this I think is a very, very, very good deal if we can get this done for this. I mean, and eventually it might, we might have to pay a little bit more, in terms of that. But let's really be honest here. It's pennies to Arthur Blank. It's not going to be anything that he's really going to be sweating about. So,
exactly.
So getting into this type of player, he was a key part of Independiente's Sudamericana win with our little Bodie in terms of Ezequiel Barco. They were teammates back then, but the type of player he is, he's comfortable on the ball, he's committed in the tackle, and he's good in the air, and he's got decent recovery pace. That should be a very, very nice part of Heinze's 11. But also, I mean, he's that guy that has experience while still being fairly young. We pretty much will have a pair of 24-year-olds in the back, but both of them will have had good experience and are both going to be very stout defenders. That's for sure. I mean, if you take one look at Franco, you see he's a beefy boy. Like he will be able to fight off some of the strongest strikers in the league. That's for sure. And very very good player that hopefully should be able to be brought in. But you have any thoughts on the type of player he is?
Yeah, so 6 foot 170, like you said, can hold his own physically, to say the least. And I think that's a good starting point for trying to bring a player into MLS, especially a defender. Of course, the key for Franco or any center back that we bring in is how they pair with Miles. And so, based on his attributes, I think he should pair pretty well with Miles. I think the key for Franco will be his comfort on the ball. Because you have to imagine there's going to be some building out of the back, and in terms of Miles, that's his comfort on the ball is a work in progress. I do think just in terms of Miles real quick, I do think he's getting better, but maybe just doesn't pick out those adventurous passes per se. So it'll be interesting to see how what Franco adds to the team, into the shape in terms of that dynamic. But I mean, what can I say? I'm excited. Certainly when obviously like player or clubs put a high price on their players, but for a player to be quoted $9 million, in this region, you figure he's got to be decent at least. So
right.
We'll see.
Yeah, and definitely the fact that he's played in a 3-man backline system as well, I think that should add to some of the flexibility and versatility that he should be able to have in Heinze's system. So, that will be interesting indeed. But onto a defender that was official last week, and that was Alex DeJohn, who last played in MLS for Orlando City. So, when you post that as the jersey that he's in the photo that he's announced in, usually doesn't go off quite well with the fans, but I believe he was contracted to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, I believe. But if an MLS team comes in for a USL player, then pretty much that contract almost just doesn't happen. And so he has been, according to Carlos Bocanegra, been training with Atl Utd since the start of preseason. He's integrated well into the group. He's both in the locker room and on the field, but he'll add competition to our back line. Some people thought that adding a player that had played for Orlando City for the last 2 seasons was more of a panic move, because this was before Alan Franco was, rumored. So definitely, it's not going to be. It's more of a competition type of backup depth type of player that has had experience in Europe as well. I believe 9 seasons in Europe. So definitely a guy that comes with a little bit of that experience that you do need from those backups. So, a mix of experience as well as, maybe George Campbell, a guy that is a prospect in that depth, I think will be very, very good. But this, I think it's topped off by the cryptic tweet that Darren Eales put out, which, he says that, oh, what Friday fun, see clues below. First, Paul says, you can call me this, your divorce, bye to wedded bliss. On the end, he's a DJ, now you know. Pretty much all those first words in each sentence spell out OFYO, and yes, that's pretty much oh fuck you Orlando if you don't know. And the fact that Darren Eales tweeted this out there, my president, my boy, jeez, he knows he might be pandering to the fans, but that's what you do, I think, in this case when you announce a former Orlando City player. But either way, have any thoughts on him doing that?
Oh, love it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course you gotta pander to the fans somewhat, but no, it's cool. I swear to God, man, like he stays up at night thinking up these tweets. Like it has to be, like there's, he has an inordinate amount of time on his hands, or he just makes the time to do it. I don't know. Yeah. But in terms of the player, I mean, like, I think it's a solid move. 29 years old. He has over 100 matches of professional experience. And even though the move was announced before the Franco rumors, I never once felt like this was the move, in terms of like addressing the defense. But as we talked about last week, defense was a little thin. And so, in terms of backup for the center back position, you have Dijon, you have Campbell, you have Walks, and I think I'm forgetting somebody.
Josh Bauer, possibly if he gets signed as well. He's our draft pick, so there is some kind of level of depth that's from going from experience to promise that's going to be I think fairly useful. And then now we have hopefully our two starting center backs, so we shall see. But
everything rounds out nicely. I think it was a solid move. I don't care. He played for Orlando.
And there's also this bit in terms of Franco. There was some reports saying that they wanted us to wait. Independiente wanted us to wait until June, but we pretty much, that would be a long time. That would be pretty much a couple months or 3 months, maybe even before we have him integrated into our team. I think the earlier it gets done. I mean, Independiente, sorry, like you get some money, so enjoy that money, man. And
buy someone else in the summer, you'll be fine.
Exactly. Like it is what it is at that point. If you are willing to let go of a player, then by all means, it's you take those consequences, I think. But anyway, let's move on to another transfer rumor, and this one was a little bit strange. Matias Suarez, a 32-year-old Argentine forward that plays for River Plate, was apparently linked with Atl Utd, but he decided that he will stay at River, and that was according to Passion Monumental. And he's having a good year at River, but very strange little link to a transfer rumor there for sure. But is it going to happen? So we'll move on swiftly from that. But and let's move on to not transfer rumors, but a rumored player in Matias Benitez, that River Plate 2 forward. He's pretty much hiding in plain sight now, and he's in Atlanta United colors. He posted an IG post. He's been posting IG story posts, whether he's going to be playing for Atlanta United 2 or not, but I don't think he's gotten the memo that he probably shouldn't be posting anything right now because he's not announced, he's not official, even if he gets the Darren Eales cryptic tweet treatment or not, which he probably won't because of the, him possibly being more of an Atlanta United 2 player. Still, Like, he probably hasn't gotten the memo, and he's just chilling around. He's gonna be like on top of the training grounds at his next photo. Like some drone shot or something, and he's just like, I don't know, sipping some gin and juice or something. I don't know. Like,
oh my
I feel
God.
like there's gonna be levels of like just what he's gonna be posting next. That until someone says like, yo, man, Matias, like,
you got chill.
Yeah, just like, relax on the post. You're not official yet, son. But anyway, yeah, it's funny nonetheless. But yeah, do you have any thoughts on that? I mean,
announce him, man. Just he's clearly here. He's training with the team. Just announce him. I don't know. I mean, like, obviously there's stuff going on that we don't know about, but
right. I think it's more Atl Utd. They're gonna announce all their players probably at a certain point, and so it's
gotcha.
But I think it's just funny. It's like
yeah,
memos are not being sent around probably, but all good. Anyway, so moving on from that, we've noticed that Machop Chol, the homegrown player, will wear number 18. That's previously worn by Jeff Lorenowitz, and so that's a pretty high number there. Seems like he might be playing a larger part. Who knows, but that's going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on from that, and Atl United have a second sleeve sponsorship. That's according to Doug Roberson of the AJC. That will be AT&T. We, of course, have the Piedmont Healthcare one on the other side. But this was a last-minute change made by MLS, apparently. In February, the club said that there weren't going to be any other planned sponsorships, but there will be indeed AT&T on there. So, yeah, we are ever the step closer to being a Mexican jersey with, just a few more sponsorships. Maybe one on the back, on the lower back, one on the top. Two more on the front.
Right. There's plenty of space on this jersey.
Yeah. But no, essentially it's probably only going to be for this season, kind of pretty much to alleviate the, the loss of revenue during the pandemic. But yeah, hopefully that does ring true and is the case. But anyway, so to the last bit of news, and that Atl United Academy, we were playing the Orlando City Academy. And over the last weekend in Savannah, our U15s beat theirs 5-2. Our U16s beat them 3-2. Our U17s beat them 2-1. And our U19s beat them 3-1. So that's a clean sweep of Orlando City. That's what you like to see. That's what, pretty much a month before. That's some good juju before that home opener. So, that's something that's, I think we should hopefully take care of business against Orlando City as well on the first team squad. But any thoughts on that? Seeing those score lines?
You love to see that legacy being upheld even at a young age. So, beating Orlando is what we're about.
Indeed. All right, so that does it for the news and pretty much for our entire show, except for the question of the day. And our question of the day is, what would your starting 11 be for the match against Charleston Battery? Of course, it's only going to be for a 30-minute period, but still, either way, what would you like to see being trotted out there on the field? Let us know in the comments below. But guys, that does it for the show. And remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. For Mark, I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching.